Hey, Chris Jenkins at the 2025 NFL Combine with head coach of the Carolina Panthers, Dave Canales. Thank you for joining me. How are you doing today, sir?
Great, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I had to wait for your rounds, but I appreciate it. I think it's going to be worth it, Dave. You have had, and you always have, and I do like your energy, but what's behind that energy? When you came up to that podium today, it was a lot of energy. What's behind that for you, Dave?
It's about possibilities. It's about a hopefulness. It's rooted in my faith. It comes from where I'm from, my family. It's grandparents who came from Mexico as immigrants and found hope and a life in this country and opportunity. And it was all rooted in faith that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that was something that my grandparents passed on to my dad. And my mom from the Midwest, and 5 siblings had to fight and scratch for everything, and they weren't going to pay for her to go to college, so she had to find a way. But to find opportunities, so for me, that's the place that I operate and I live from, is the possibilities of what could be. I'm probably sitting here in front of you as the head coach of the Panthers because of that. I was a junior varsity high school football coach 20 years ago. But I was curious, and I was curious about how far I could go and how good I could become doing this profession and impacting the people in a positive way along the way. I think that's kind of the heart of it.
You have you had a chance to start going through your interviews yet with these prospects?
Yeah, we had some interviews last night. We'll have a few more tonight, and then tomorrow will be morning and evening.
Okay, all right. When you're evaluating prospects, what's the difference on how Dave Canales, as a head coach, may evaluate than, let's say, that scout or Dan?
I'm looking for I wouldn't say this differs from what Dan is looking for, but I think for me what's most important is I want to see self-awareness. I want to see a player that understands their strengths and weaknesses and has a plan for correcting the things they need to. And I want to see somebody who knows their story. I want to hear from them the different pivotal moments throughout their life, and I want to see if they can tell their life story in an organized fashion. That means something to me. When a guy's scattered all over the place or kind of like, I don't know, and then here we are, I'm concerned because then it makes me think about the depth of character that we're talking to. Is like, I don't know how deeply, how connected, how passionate this person is about where they're going to go. But I know that with somebody that has a roadmap of where they've been, can certainly develop a roadmap for where they want to go. That person has the best chance to maximize their potential, which is what we all want when we're investing so much resources in these players.
The more I talk to you, the more I think this guy is really cerebral, right? And the way that you process and when you're sitting down, so those meetings that you have with these prospects, I feel like for you, you got your notepad and you got Dave Canales' way that you want to talk to that player and connect with that player.
Absolutely. I want them talking. So if I can ask generous questions, I'll get generous answers. And if I ask a really good question and don't get a good response, that's usually a red flag for me. It's like, I think I teed him up and he did not choose to answer that question. So it gives you good information.
Yeah, I like that. You've talked with your players about how you guys can play with anybody. What does that message mean to you, and why is it so important for you to emphasize that, hey, guys, we can play with anybody?
I just think that if we can take care of the football and you can play good fundamental ball together with the right play style, which for us is about great effort, first and foremost, great enthusiasm by celebrating each other, great toughness, that means running the ball and stopping the run first and foremost, playing smart, so we're making great decisions, and then finish everything we do, plays, drives, quarters, halves, games, finish everything. If we can make that play style come to life at practice, it will lead to great results on Sundays. And we showed our team, we learned that regardless of who we put on that field, if we're committed to these principles, this will be a really good game at a minimum. We can play with anybody, and we'll win it on some of these occasions if we can put ourselves in that situation.
Yeah, and speaking of those principles, last year one, you're a new coach, so you're building your foundation for this team in year one. As you go into year two, what are some things that you can do now in year two that you couldn't do in year one, just because of the fact that, number one, you got to set that foundation first, and now we're going to build on it?
Well, first and foremost, you have to return to the basics. And that's a discipline. That's why the Patriots were so good for so long. They returned to the basics. That's why we were so successful in Seattle. You return to the basics. It's all about the ball. It I'm embarrassed to say that we were on the bottom part of the NFL in terms of turnover differential, taking care of it and taking it away.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be an emphasis of our football. That is going to lead. Look at the playoffs. The teams that took care of it won. The teams that gave it up lost. It's that simple. And in year 2, it's just about becoming specifically what this team is. We're not going to be the same. We're going to be different. Our rookies are going to be year 2 players. You know, our defense is going to have a bunch of new faces. We have to learn our guys. Our schemes will become our players, and then we can kind of build some nuances off of that.
Now, you spoke there about rookies, right? And you guys have a lot of holes to fill, so presumably you may be getting a lot of younger guys in on this team. You spoke earlier that you're not afraid to play rookies. You don't know how many, but you're not afraid to play those rookies. What gives you the confidence about, hey, I'm not afraid to play those rookies and not get worried about the rookie mistakes that they could have?
Yeah, it's a part of the process. I think fail forward fast. Is that that's Roosevelt, right? I can't remember. I'll look it up later. But basically, if you are not afraid to fail,
Mm-hmm.
then we can learn lessons, we can fix issues, and we can become better and better, particularly for your young players.
Mm-hmm.
But even for free agents who haven't been in scheme, the sooner you can make those, let's find new mistakes to make.
Yeah.
And that's how you get really good in your processes.
Yeah. This is going to be your second year with Bryce. Bryce's third year. Did pretty well last year. What's the best thing that you can do for Bryce this year to help him continue to make those progressions forward?
Yeah, just continue to shape and mold our pass game and run game. Make sure that he's a weapon. Make sure that he's a factor on every play. He touches the ball every time,
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's in the RPO game or the pass game and different concepts that fit him well, is just continuing to give him those types of options that he can make come alive.
Okay. Now, your coaching, going back to, again, year 1 foundation, now we're going to continue to build on that. Coaching staff obviously is a big part of that foundation and that culture building, and you have made some changes with your coaching staff. Can you talk about the approach to building the right culture and the mindset that you have in making those decisions for your coaching staff?
Yeah, we're a developmentally minded staff. Everything we do is a full commitment to developing our players. The minute they step in that building, everything's prepared for them, and we're excited about it. We're excited about presenting this information to them. We're excited about this drill that we're going to do every day because we know what it leads to. It's success on Sundays, and our goal is to find their best. I want to make sure that our players come into our building and feel like they have every resource at their disposal and they have the instruction in place to help them maximize their potential. Everything we do in our organization should be about maximizing the potential of our players. And then, of course, on our staff, it's also developing the staff, the people that work for our coordinators and all that, that we're all pursuing our best, that we're looking for daily growth, that daily commitment. Everybody, the minute I come back in here, I'm in. I'm all in, and I'm going for it. And that's the culture that we're trying to create.
Was that some of that development thing? Was that some of the reasoning behind, I believe Caldwell got changed to a position of coaching, I forget that title, right? But was that part of that, hey, I also want to make sure my coaching staff has been developed?
Not necessarily that move, no.
Mm-hmm.
But Coach Caldwell certainly has helped me with his experience as a head coach and just his NFL knowledge, that I can just pick his brain and have him, put in his 2 cents on a lot of the decisions that I got to make.
Okay. Last one, I'll let you go. It's been a long day. Appreciate the time, so certainly for you, Dave. You've had a lot of questions at you today in this past hour or so, right? What's the one question that you haven't been asked that you would like to let fans know about in terms of yourself or for the season coming up that you feel like should be known? That's a good broad one for you.
Yeah. I think I have not gotten asked enough about the Teppers, about David and Nicole.
Yes.
And I want to be able to say how much I've learned working with them, Nicole's intentionality within the organization, wanting everything to be excellent, and and competing to find that, for the different departments all around our building, and then working with Mr. Tepper, with Dan, and with Brant, and just this pursuit of great processes, and his faith that excellent processes lead to excellent decisions, and our ability to just come together, to collaborate, um, to really look at the different conclusions we've come to, the decisions we've made, good or bad, and then, okay, so what was behind this good decision? Let's replicate that. What was behind this poor decision? How do we fix these decisions? And just doing everything with honesty and with courage to be able to look at things with an honest eye.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time, Dave. He's Dave Canales, head coach of Carolina Panthers. I'm Chris Jenkins with Charlotte. Thank you all so much.